Game started.
Ilan from Israel. Okay, let's try an E4 game here. Did a couple of D4 games, although we got a French defense in one of them. But anyway, time for E4. Okay, how about an Italian game? And let's play C3 and see what he does. Does he play the main move, knight to F6? No, he just plays D6. Let's go ahead and castle. Now knight F6 can be met by rook to E8, but then he's got knight to G5 hitting that unprotected pawn. So let's defend the pawn. Play in kind of a slow fashion here. He goes for the pin, okay? And then let's bring the knight over to defend my knight. And then play H3 to kick the bishop. Now maybe he's going to castle queenside. Yeah, okay, he's going for the old fishing pole attack, which it is dangerous if you take the bishop. The knight comes out, the queen, the rook on the H file, but of course you don't have to take the bishop. You can just leave it sitting there. And what should I should push here. That's what I should do. Push the bishop back with B4. It stops the knight from coming here. I can bring my queen out. Tempo, hitting the F7 pawn, which he gives up. That's interesting. So if I take on F7, he can harass me with the rook, and then he gets a rook on this file. That might be worth something. Yeah. I don't think that's entirely correct, though. So let's take it and see what he can do. Takes there. That solves the problem of his bishop that was always a little bit loose there, although I wasn't yet ready to take it. Oh, and then he pushes on this way. Okay, well, I'm just going to escape from the F file with my bishop. This is just a trade. He takes, I take, and he takes. So he gets the pawn back. No, he doesn't get the pawn back even. He just gave me another pawn. And once again, it's not so clear that I want to take that, because the queen and the rook on the open H file can be dangerous. But what about pawn takes, bishop to G5. Well, queen moves out of the way. Take the rook, he takes the knight, and he still gets the open G file. Now I could play bishop to G5 first. See if he wants to retreat his knight or retreat the queen. Oh, gives up the exchange, okay. Yes, now let's chase that bishop away. Ah, he's going to chase my bishop away. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see, the check here.
Check.
Just leaves it there. And if I take the knight. Okay, so pawn takes to open up the H file. And well, my bishop still doesn't have a square. Let's kick this bishop first and see where it wants to go.
Check.
Aha, he does want to do that. I was wondering if he might go for that. This is all pretty helpful to me, I think. So his queen's looking at a couple of squares. The knight's guarding d2 there, and g3 is guarded by my king. He can push his pawn forward and then play queen to g2. That's something he can do. And my bishop is a little bit out of play. So let's think. If I bring the bishop back, he plays his pawn to h4. And then maybe I push this pawn forward. Yeah, I have to bring the bishop back at least because of it frees up my queen. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I don't think that helps too much. Let's see. Can I just push forward on the queen side here? Pawn to pawn a6. He pushes. And pawn here. He pushes, and then this bishop comes here. Maybe I go this way. I just don't see any big breakthroughs here. Yeah, you can do that. That is a breakthrough, isn't it? Okay, so let's open up a line towards his king. I think he has to respond to that. And, well, let's count the material. I've got 2 pieces and a rook, and he's got 1 piece and a rook. So I'm just 1 piece up. I can't be too careless. So giving away the knight doesn't seem like a good idea. I can play bishop back to e6. Or I can unpin. Yeah, it's just unpinned. So if he pushes that pawn forward, my knight will have to move. Or should I move my rook here? Pawn takes, rook takes. And then the queen goes back to defend the rook, I guess. Check, check. And then what am I left with? Still got some extra pawns here. Maybe this is good. If I retreat the knight, then he comes in here with the check, which looks kind of annoying. Okay, and he's got knight takes pawn over here, so I have to be careful about that. Although my bishop is also defended by a pawn. Yeah, he goes there. So I was thinking, is there something great I could do? Get on this diagonal so I have more pressure on the rook here. And we're down to almost even material. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But he'd have to give up a pawn to win. He would have to give up a pawn to win my knight. And so I would still have 1 pawn up. But well, that's quite a change from the way it was. Okay, so knight takes pawn now. Can his queen go anywhere to check me? Queen takes rook, king takes. Maybe knight here. Queen goes somewhere. And then I move my queen away from his rook. If the queen moves, if the queen takes the knight, and I'll just come out. I'll be a piece up at the end of all that. Queen takes rook. King takes, rook takes queen, knight takes. I've got a knight and he has nothing. No pieces, I mean. Yeah, so he just moves his queen aside. And I should do the same. Let's go back here. Get on this, looks like a good diagonal to me. He's going to win a pawn here.
Check.
But I get a piece, so that is an improvement over what I had before. He's got to move his queen again, I guess. Okay, so let's think. I've got to check here and pick up a pawn. And that will help me defend over here as well. It helps me get my queen
Check.
into a better square that defends the C pawn and looks out at this G pawn too. Yeah, so he goes there anyway. So there's a check here. Let's see, if he pushes the pawn, I can take the queen, and then he gets a new queen. But he's lost a pawn in the process. Yeah, there's a checkmate pattern here, but the rook is guarding the square on the F2. That would deliver the checkmate. So, scary stuff. Well, he's making a fight of it. After giving away all this material,
Check.
he has made a fight of it. But I'm hoping he will eventually run out of checks. Phew. So, does that mean I have to give up a rook here? What else is there? I don't see any way to stop it. Okay, so what is this? Now he's up material. Well, I've got the exchange for a pawn. Let's not lose that pawn. Let's play the game out. And let's see, if he makes too many fast moves, maybe I can catch him here.
Check.
He does have a big advantage in time. I'm hitting the rook and the pawn at the same time. That's why I was thinking maybe I can catch him here. And I take this with check, which is nice.
Check.
And that picks up the rook. So, well, interesting back and forth game here, I guess.
Check.
So I got the rook back that he won. Okay, I think I can win this now. Let's just defend my pawns. And here. Push this pawn forward. And he doesn't want to trade queens, I'm sure. So he'll move his queen here. And the queen does a great job of of shepherding a pawn forward against an opposing queen. It's really tough. Okay, so let's dissolve things here, right? There's a check.
Check.
This has got to be the simplest way to win this. Well, I kind of pulled a rabbit out of my hat there,
Check.
but he could have taken the pawn, but it doesn't matter because I get another queen. He's determined not to take the pawn. Maybe he's looking for a stalemate trick of some kind. So he has a couple of squares to go to here and here. Let's see, I have a check.
Check.
And he didn't go...
Black resigns.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to go slow enough to make sure I didn't give him a draw. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll see you again soon. Bye.